Eastern Europe, 12th century. You're a peasant with big dreams and a small life expectancy. You open your eyes for the first time and congratulations, you're already knee-deep in manure. Literal manure. Your father is a farmer. Your mother died giving birth to you. The village priest says it's God's plan. You're 5 and already suspicious of this God person. But tonight is different. Tonight you're 17, relatively clean, and walking to meet a girl who smiled at you. That's enough. You've built an entire future on that smile. Kids, a cottage, maybe a goat. You take the shortcut through the alley because you're young and immortal. Metaphorically immortal. The regular kind. Then you see him. Pale. Still. Watching you like a recipe. You want to run. Your legs disagree. You want to scream. Your throat locks. He moves like smoke. 1 second across the alley, the next at your neck. Cold fingers. Colder breath. Fangs. The pain is brief. The darkness isn't. Congratulations. You've been promoted. From peasant to corpse. From corpse to something worse. 3 days underground. No memories. Just black. Then you wake. Not peacefully. Not gently. You claw out of dirt like a mole having a panic attack. Gasping, except you don't need air anymore. Shaking, except you're not cold. Screaming, except no sound comes out. You're in a cemetery, alone, naked. And something inside you is roaring. Hunger. But not the kind bread fixes. This hunger has teeth. This hunger has a voice, and it's telling you to find the nearest heartbeat and 528 drain it dry. You smell the village before you see it. Every chimney, every pig, every sleeping child, a symphony of blood. Your mouth waters. Your new fangs cut your own lip. You don't understand what you are. You don't know the rules. You don't even know you have fangs until you lick your teeth and slice your tongue open. No welcome committee. No instruction manual. No brooding elder to explain the poetry of eternal night. Just you. Feral. Confused. Starving. Your maker? Nowhere. Left you like a sick dog on the side of a Roman road. Turned you for sport. Maybe for boredom. Maybe he forgot you existed before the blood on his chin dried. You crouch behind a barn, shaking, crying blood. Actual blood tears, which is disgusting and confusing. And you realize something. You didn't ask for this. You didn't choose this. And absolutely no one is coming to help. Welcome to immortality. Try not to eat anyone on your first night. You will fail. Your first night as a vampire is a disaster. A masterpiece of bad decisions. You try eating a potato. Your body rejects it like a personal insult. You vomit black bile behind a haystack and lie there twitching, wondering if undeath has a refund policy. You try a chicken. Raw. Feathers and all. Tastes like disappointment wrapped in salmonella. Your stomach says no. Your hunger says try again, idiot. You know what you need. You've known since you crawled out of that grave. You just don't want to admit it. But the hunger doesn't negotiate. Doesn't wait. Doesn't care about your morals. By the second night, you're watching a shepherd from the bushes. Not the sheep. The shepherd. His neck pulses in the moonlight like a drum. Your body moves before your brain agrees. Lucky him, you're terrible at this. You bite too hard. He screams. You panic. He runs. You catch him anyway because apparently you're fast now. Blurry fast, unsettling fast. He passes out. You drink. And drink. When you stop, he's cold. Congratulations. First kill. No trophy. No ceremony. Just a dead stranger and the sour taste of copper on your tongue. You feel sick. Then full. Then sick again. Then powerful. And that scares you more than the hunger did. The next weeks are trial and error. Mostly error. Your crash course in vampirism has no teacher. Just consequences. Lesson 1. Sunlight. You step outside at dawn because old habits die hard. Your skin doesn't die hard. It sizzles, melts, smokes like bacon on a summer stone. You scream and dive into a pig trough. Spend the entire day submerged in mud, healing, crying, questioning every life choice that led to this. Lesson 2. Holy symbols. A nun walks past your hiding spot. She's carrying a small wooden cross. Harmless. Decorative. Your face disagrees. It burns from 3 meters away. You run into a wall, then a door, then another wall. She thinks it's a miracle. You think it's humiliating. Lesson 3, running water. Rivers are walls now. Streams are obstacles. You once stood at the edge of a creek for 4 hours, trying to convince your legs to step in. They refused. Rain feels like being judged by the sky itself. Lesson 4, garlic. A farmer's wife hangs it on her door. Standard practice. You smell it from across the village. Your eyes water. Your throat closes. You gag, run into a fence, and collapse in a ditch until morning. Garlic. The vegetable that ends your dignity. Lesson 5, invitation. Homes are fortresses now. Doesn't matter if the door is open. Doesn't matter if no one's inside. You cannot enter unless invited. You once stood outside an abandoned cottage for 3 nights, starving, because the threshold wouldn't let you pass. The owner was dead. Skeleton in the bed. Still needed his permission. You're less predator now. More checklist of allergies with fangs. And still, no mentor. No guidance. No ancient vampire appearing dramatically to say, I will teach you, just you. Failing upward. Learning every rule by breaking your body against it. One night you drain a beggar too fast. He twitches, convulses, opens his eyes, red, confused, hungry. You made one. By accident. He doesn't thank you. He lunges for your throat. You put him down with a broken fence post through the chest. He turns to ash. You don't sleep for a week. You're not a monster. Not yet. You're a student with no school, no books, and a tuition paid entirely in blood. Class is in session, and the final exam is survival. A century and a half passes. To humans, that's 6 generations. To you, it's a long Tuesday. You've figured things out. Mostly. You don't kill every time you feed anymore. You've learned to sip, not chug. Take a little. Leave them dizzy. Disappear before they understand what happened. It's not elegant, but it's functional. You've mastered the shadows, learned which hours are safe, memorized the moon cycles, the church schedules, the patrol routes of every village guard dumb enough to walk alone. You're not feral anymore. You're careful, calculated. You're also completely, devastatingly alone. Until you're not. You meet others. Vampires. Real ones. Old ones. Turns out there's a whole world you didn't know existed. Covens, territories, unspoken rules. A hidden society of the undead, operating like a very dramatic HOA. Some are ancient. Some are freshly turned. Most are insufferable. One calls himself Count Dracula. He's intense. Wears a cape indoors. Has a castle, servants, the whole aristocratic package. Also has a human wife, which everyone agrees is weird, but nobody questions because he's terrifying. He speaks about coexistence, about understanding. Says mortals can accept us if we show them who we truly are. You nod politely and think he's absolutely insane. But he's the first vampire who doesn't try to kill you on sight. So you listen, learn, watch how the old ones operate. They have rules, hierarchy, politics. It's exhausting. You realize something. Immortality doesn't make you wise. It just makes you tired with better vocabulary. Decades blur. You move through the vampire world like a ghost among ghosts. Never staying, never belonging. Covens bore you. Elders annoy you. The young ones remind you of yourself, stupid, hungry, doomed. One night, you decide to go home. Bad idea. You know it before you start walking. But something pulls you back. Nostalgia. Curiosity. The memory of a girl who smiled at you once. The village is still there. Same roads. Same church. Same well where you used to wash your face before pretending to be charming. But everyone is gone. Not dead gone. Replaced gone. New faces. New families. New names. You ask about your father's farm. Nobody knows it. You describe your old cottage. They look at you like you're speaking a dead language. Because you are. You're a dead man speaking dead words about a dead life. You find the cemetery. Your mother's grave. Weeds everywhere. No flowers. No one visited in decades. Next to her, a stone with your name. Your real name. Worn by rain. Forgotten by time. They buried an empty coffin. Had a funeral. Mourned you. Moved on. You're not missing. You're not remembered. You're erased. You stand there until sunrise threatens the horizon. Then you leave. Don't look back. Immortality isn't living forever. It's watching everything that made you human disappear and being unable to follow. You thought eternity was a gift. Turns out it's a waiting room with no exit, and you're just getting started. Lucky you. You swore you'd never get attached. Attachment is a trap, a countdown, a funeral you schedule in advance. Then you meet her. A tavern. Somewhere in what will eventually become Germany. You're hiding in a corner, nursing a cup of wine you can't drink, pretending to be human for the 1,000th time. She's a barmaid, sharp tongue, quick laugh, carries 3 mugs in each hand, and insults the drunks with a smile that makes them tip extra. She looks at you just once, and something inside your dead chest twitches. You tell yourself it's nothing. Indigestion, maybe. Do vampires get indigestion? You don't know. You never had a mentor, remember? But you come back. Next night. You help her carry barrels, fix a broken chair, listen to her complain about her boss, her mother, her drunk regulars. You laugh at her jokes. She laughs at yours. You try eating bread once, just to seem normal. Spend the next hour vomiting behind the stables. Worth it. Weeks pass, months. You learn her name, her birthday, her favorite song, the way her nose wrinkles when she's lying, the way her voice drops when she's tired. You memorize her like a poem, like a prayer, like the last warm thing you'll ever hold. And then she asks, "What are you?" Not suspicious, just curious. She's noticed things. The cold skin, the missing reflection in the water basin, the way you never eat, never age, never show up before dark. You could lie. You've lied for 2 centuries. You're good at it. But you don't want to. Not to her. So you tell her. Everything. The alley. The fangs. The hunger. The years. The loneliness. You talk until your voice cracks, until words feel useless, until silence is the only thing left. She listens. Doesn't interrupt. Doesn't run. For one perfect moment, you think Dracula was right. Humans can understand. Maybe you're not a monster. Maybe you're just different. Maybe she screams. Not a small scream. A real one. The kind that wakes neighbors. Alerts guards. Summons priests. She runs. Straight to the church. Doesn't look back. You stand there. Frozen. Not because you can't move. You're supernaturally fast, remember? You could catch her in 3 heartbeats. Erase her memory. Make her forget everything. But you don't. Because for the first time in decades, you felt something real. And forcing her to forget would make it a lie. So you let her go. By morning, the whole town knows. The monster in the tavern. The demon who pretended to be a man. Pitchforks, torches, holy water. The classics. You run. Again. Like always. Like forever. And somewhere between the forest and the next nameless village, you make a promise to yourself, never again. No more attachment, no more hope, no more pretending you can have what the living have. You're not a man who became a monster. You're a monster who forgot what he was. Thanks for the reminder. You thought you were careful. You weren't. Every body you left behind. Every villager who glimpsed your shadow. Every priest who found bite marks on a corpse. They wrote it down. Compared notes. Connected dots. Turns out the church keeps records. Detailed ones. Passed down from monastery to monastery like a holy grudge. You're not a rumor anymore. You're a file. And now they're coming. Not peasants with pitchforks. Not scared villagers with garlic necklaces. Professionals. Hunters who trained their whole lives for this. Monks who traded prayers for crossbows. Knights who blessed their blades in holy springs. One group calls themselves the Order of the Silver Dawn. Dramatic name. Terrifying results. They don't sleep. Don't negotiate. Don't miss. First encounter. A forest in what will become Poland. You're resting in an abandoned chapel. Ironic, yes. But the roof was intact and sunrise was close. They find you at dusk. 6 of them. Coordinated. Silent. One throws holy water. Another swings a silver chain. A third reads scripture so fast it sounds like a spell. Your skin blisters. Your ears ring. You escape through a window, leaving behind 2 fingers and most of your dignity. You run for decades, literally. Change names, change countries, change everything. Alaric in Austria, Vasile in Wallachia, Edmund in England, once, briefly, Steve in a fishing village. Don't ask. Nothing sticks. You can't settle. The moment you get comfortable, they appear. A symbol carved on a tree, a whisper in a market, the smell of silver and incense. You learn their tricks. They learn yours. One hunter drops a bag of rice in your path. You laugh until your cursed brain forces you to count every grain. 1, 2, 3, 100, 1,000. You look up. He's reloading his crossbow. You barely escape. Another time, they consecrate an entire field while you're buried underneath. The ground burns. You dig sideways for 2 miles, screaming into the dirt. They dig up your crypts, burn your safe houses, salt the earth where you sleep. You used to be the predator. Now you're prey with a 1,000-year warranty. And it's not just the church anymore. Dampiers, half-breeds, children of vampires and humans, born with our strengths and none of our weaknesses. They hate us more than the hunters do. Daddy issues carved into their DNA. One tracks you across 3 countries. Doesn't eat. Doesn't rest. Just follows. You kill him outside Prague. His last words, "Another will come." He wasn't lying. You stop counting the years. Stop counting the bodies. Stop counting anything except exits. Castle to cave to crypt. Crypt to sewer. Lower and lower, like shame has a basement. You hear about Dracula, the romantic fool who believed in coexistence. His wife got murdered by a mob. He responded by erasing an entire village from the map. Men, women, children, livestock, even the trees. Now he's a legend. The bad kind. The kind mothers use to scare children. You understand him now. The rage, the grief, the exhaustion of caring in a world that wants you dead. But you don't follow his path. Not because you're better, because you're tired. So you dig deeper, hide longer, become a ghost of a ghost. The hunters keep hunting. You keep running. And somewhere along the way, you forget what you were running toward. Centuries stop meaning anything. You watch the Black Death sweep through Europe. Half the population gone. You're immune, obviously. Can't kill what's already dead. But you can starve. Fewer humans means fewer meals. You spend decades in hibernation, buried in forgotten tombs, dreaming of nothing. You wake up to the Renaissance. Humans painting, sculpting, inventing. You try to appreciate it. Hard to enjoy art when you can't see yourself in mirrors, and everyone you meet is a potential dinner. Then wars. So many wars. You lose track of which king is fighting which cousin over which patch of mud. Borders shift like sand. Languages evolve. Fashions change. You see powdered wigs become a thing. You don't understand. You never will. 2 world wars. Those are new. Industrial death. Mechanical slaughter. Humans finally catching up to your body count. But with factories. You survive. You always survive. That's the curse, isn't it? Not dying, but not being allowed to stop. You bury everyone you ever met. Twice. Once in the ground. Once in your memory, when remembering becomes too heavy. The barmaid. The shepherd. The priest. The dampier who almost got you in Prague. All dust now. All forgotten. Just like you'll be. One night. Could be 1950, could be 1980. Time is soup at this point. You decide to rest. Really rest. Find a stone coffin in an abandoned crypt somewhere in Eastern Europe. Poetic, returning to where it started. You close your eyes. Let the decades pass. You dream of sunlight, not burning, just warm. The way it felt on your skin when you were alive. When you were nobody. When you were happy. Then voices. Scraping. Light. Flashlights. Not torches, flashlights. Modern. Bright. Painful. You open your eyes. Faces above you. Humans in khaki. Brushes, cameras, notebooks, archaeologists. They dug you up. Dusted you off. Documented you. You're in a museum now. Glass box. Little placard. Possible mummy. Eastern European origin. Circa 12th century. They think you're dead. Fair assumption. You wait until night. The museum is empty. You push the glass lid. Step out. Stretch bones that haven't moved in decades. Freedom. Finally. Maybe you'll start over. Find a new century to haunt. Learn what the internet is. Try pizza. Then you see it. A skylight. Open. Just a crack. Dawn is coming. You can feel it. That old familiar warning in your dead veins. You move toward the exit. Fast. Faster. Not fast enough. One single beam of sunlight, slipping through the crack, catching your shoulder. You burn. Instantly. Completely. No scream, no last words, no dramatic monologue, just fire, then ash, then nothing. A janitor finds the pile in the morning, gray dust near the Egyptian exhibit. He sighs, grabs a broom. Damn dust, he mutters, sweeps you into a corner, throws you in the trash. 9 centuries, countless deaths, eternal hunger, running, hiding, loving, losing. And this is how it ends. A dustpan, a garbage bag, a man who doesn't know your name. Immortality was never a gift. It was a sentence, a joke the universe tells at your expense. You weren't a legend. You weren't a god. You were a peasant who took a shortcut through the wrong alley and spent 900 years paying for it. But hey, at least it wasn't Twilight.